Hello, welcome. Welcome to Essential Oils for Health, presented by Dr. Dana Dragone. We're glad everybody is able to Zoom in today through the East Hampton Library, and we welcome everybody from very far away. And if anybody has any questions through the presentation, you're welcome to use the raise hand feature, or you could type your questions in the chat. And when we get to the Q&A period in the end, we'll unmute the mics. So without further ado, I'd like to turn over today's presentation to Dr. Dana Dragone.
All right. Hello, everyone. So today we are talking about aromatherapy and its specific uses for the immune system. So I am a big fan of aromatherapy. It's one of my favorite tools to work with, just for general health and well-being. And I am a certified aromatherapist along with my other credentials. So I love this quote. It says, excuse me, "Healing begins with an aromatic bath and a daily massage." So that's a Hippocrates quote. And really, essential oils are so ancient. They've been used for so many years, over like 3,500 years. And before we had like modern day like perfumes and fragrances and things like that, really essential oils are what were used to have like pleasant scents. The actual term aromatherapy was invented by a French chemist after René Maurice Gattefoss. I'm not sure if I'm saying that correctly, but basically he had a very bad burn accident, and when he was working in his lab, he poured lavender essential oil over his burns and found that they helped him heal. They helped his burns heal. They didn't get infected, and he had like minimal scarring. So after that, he was like, wow, something happened here. I'm going to look into this more. And that's kind of where we get the science or the just general like idea of aromatherapy. So what is aromatherapy? Basically, it's a holistic healing method that uses natural plant extracts to promote well-being. It's a little bit different than most like pharmaceutical type of things, because what we're really focusing on is like natural components rather than something that was processed or made in a lab. And it uses essential oils. These natural plant extracts are what we call essential oils. So what is an essential oil? It is a compound that is extracted from a plant. Very simply. You can, have a very sciencey definition, but the biggest thing is that it's a specific compound extracted from a plant. They contain a ton of different compounds and chemicals that can be used for different purposes, whether it's killing bacteria, helping to reduce pain, promoting healing, and a ton more. They are completely natural. They are different from a fragrance, which is synthetic and made in a lab. A single essential oil can contain up to 400 different compounds, and all of these compounds can have a variety of different effects on the body. Interestingly enough, most of the pharmaceuticals that you use, so your medications and things like that, are actually derived from something that was in nature. So, for example, with essential oils, there's about 400 different components, right? So we're looking at, if you do a whole scientific analysis on it, there's so many different compounds. We're not really sure which one does what. And what scientists and researchers have done is they've individualized each component and said, okay, let me test this in rats. Let me test this in humans. Let's see what's going on here. And then they find something that might help lower your blood pressure or might help block pain, such as like your Advil or your Tylenol. And then they said, okay, let me take this one component and now let me create it in the lab. So it's not necessarily natural anymore. You're not going to find like acetaminophen in your essential oil, but you're going to find some of the components, right? And that's why essential oils are so effective, because not only do they have the component that has been studied, but it has all the other ones. And there's this idea that they all work together synergistically to help us get the benefits from them. So how can we use essential oils? The first way is to diffuse them. And if you look at my camera up here, this is a diffuser, one that I keep with me. And really what this does is you pour your oils in there. Some might require some water. Mine does not, it's just oil-based. And you turn it on and it will spread the oil throughout the room. So this is good if you have like a larger area, or if you want to make your house smell nice during the holidays, things like that. A diffuser is great for that. It's also great if you have someone who has a cold and you want to kind of sterilize the room, sterilize the air. Diffusers are great for that. Then we have inhaling, and two ways to do this are you can create something like this, which is inhaler. And basically there is a little cotton wick in here that was soaked in essential oils. When you take the cap off, you breathe in and you can smell it. The other way to do it, very simply, is to just take your essential oil bottle, open the cap, and inhale. Right, so it's not going on our skin, it's not going in us, but we are smelling it, and we are getting those compounds through our bloodstream, through our nasal passages. And then the other way to use it is topically. So that's literally putting the oil on your body. Whenever we are doing this, it's important that you make sure your oils are diluted, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. And then again, besides these, 3 ways of using essential oils, you can also use them to create products such as like a non-toxic cleaner, or add them to a soap to make it smell nice, or candles so you don't have synthetic fragrances burning, which we now know are cancer causing and hormone disrupting, among other things. So there's plenty of other ways to use them or add them to products, but these are the 3 main ways that we're going to be talking about today, how we can use them for our immune system. So a little bit more detail. Diffusing is really the least scientific yet most safe way to use essential oils. All you have to do is add between 5 and 10 drops of your favorite essential oil or a blend to a diffuser. If, like I said, some require water, most of them require water, then you add your water and you turn it on and it spreads it into the air. The benefits for this are that it reaches a large area, and it's very safe. It can help reduce your germ exposure. It can also be used to boost concentration and even help reduce insomnia, depending on which oils you use. I will say though, with diffusing, if you have animals in your home or in the room that you're going to be diffusing them in, you want to make sure that you leave a window open, especially if you have a cat, because essential oils can be very toxic to our pets sometimes, depending on which oil you're using. But this is probably the most common way you'll see people using essential oils, especially if they're not too familiar with like the health benefits of them, but more just interested in using them in their home. Next, we have inhaling. So this is one of the fastest ways to get the essential oils into your bloodstream. Molecules from the essential oil travel from the olfactory nerves, the nerves in your nose, straight into the brain. You can smell them directly from the bottle or create an inhaler like I showed you. And the benefits to this is that it can be used whenever. For those of you that are females, if you carry a purse, a little essential oil bottle is so tiny, so easy to carry with you. Inhalers are even smaller. It's like a tube of lipstick, probably smaller. So really easy to put in your pocket, put in your purse, and you can take them on the go. These are great for helping to boost your mood, improving your immunity, curbing cravings, as well as altering any alertness. So for, excuse me, I don't know why I'm losing my voice. So for example, if you are really tired, there are certain essential oils that you can use that'll help wake you up. Okay. And next is topical. So essential oils are safe to use on your body as long as they're diluted properly. And this is really, really important because certain oils can cause irritation. For example, if you put peppermint directly on your body, you can actually get fever-like symptoms. Other oils can create sun sensitivity. These are usually your citruses. So something like a bergamot, an orange, a lemon, putting these directly on your skin, if you go out in the sun, can result in really bad burning and blistering. But some of these benefits are that it can target specific areas when you use them topically. So for example, if you have an ache or a pain, using essential oils that help to block pain receptors on that specific area can help reduce your pain. There's essential oils that are really great for reducing inflammation. So if you have an area that's injured, for example, I sprained my ankle yesterday. So I've been putting essential oils on the ankle sprain and helping to reduce the inflammation there. It can also be used to improve skin conditions. So anyone who deals with like really dry skin or acne or rosacea, and also replace toxic beauty products. So if you don't already know, there are a ton of chemicals in our beauty products. And unfortunately, especially if you're female, you probably are putting about 200 chemicals on your body before you even leave your house in the morning. So it's important that we look into cleaner options, ones that aren't going to cause hormone disruption and things like that. We have a question here that says, what essential oils are good for pain? I'm going to go through a ton of essential oils, but I will answer this more specifically at the very end. Okay, Tina? But hold on to the question because I will answer it. So can I eat essential oils? If you have ever talked to a representative for like a doTERRA or what is the other one? Healthy Living, I think. They might say, you know, some oils can be ingested. It's really not recommended. I do not recommend it really at all. The only essential oil that I feel comfortable recommending is the fresh ginger and the lemon essential oil. And when I say ingesting this, it is literally a drop in a very large glass of water. They should be thought of as medications, not really something to be messed with, and not something, yes, it comes from a plant, maybe you can eat that plant, but for example, we can eat oregano, but if you were to ingest oregano oil, you can cause severe burning down your esophagus. So it's not always the best idea to ingest them. A lot of them can be toxic and can result in poisoning. Others can cause gastric or stomach ulcers, seizures, a rapid heartbeat, allergic reactions. It's really important that you don't consume any essential oil unless you have had a consult with a legitimate certified aromatherapist or your doctor who's knowledgeable in this topic. Okay, so some aromatherapy products that you might come across that are all beneficial are things like bath salts, salves, massage oils, inhalers, lotions scented with essential oils are going to be a lot better for you than a lotion scented with fragrance. Any type of spray, whether it's like a room spray or a pillow spray or a body spray. Roll-ons are very popular as well. And then things like soaps and candles. So these are all the different things that you might see or that you could if you wanted to make with essential oils. So now, how do they affect our immune system? This is the important part, right? So first, they can stimulate parts of our immune system. Certain oils can actually increase the function of our immune cells, whether it's, producing more white blood cells, helping our body to do that, or just enhancing the function of our immune cells. We also know that essential oils can help to reduce inflammation. So as you reduce inflammation, you're kind of reducing the burden that your immune system has when you get injured or when you're sick. And lastly, they can reduce our chemical exposure. And this is a big one. So chemical exposure from toxic products, whether it's the water we drink, the air we breathe, the beauty products that we're using, the shampoos, the soaps, the cleaning chemicals for our house. There are just so many toxins around us. And the more that we expose ourselves to them, the more strain we're putting on our immune system, right? These things that disrupt our hormones, they disrupt our neurotransmitters in our brain. They can literally reduce the effects of our organs And the ones that are really important that regulate our hormones can also regulate our immune system. So we want to make sure that we're not putting extra undue stress on our bodies, so that if or when we do get sick, it's not on top of our immune system having to fight off all these other toxins and chemicals and things like that. So this is a very big one for me, something that I am passionate about, but really trying to reduce our chemical exposure. And a good way to do that is by replacing the toxins with essential oils. So how to choose an essential oil? An important thing is to always look for the Latin name. So for example, you guys can see this is very, very tiny, so it's going to be a little bit difficult to see. But where it says ingredients, you can see this is rosemary oil, and it says organic, non-GMO organic Rosmarinus officinalis. You always want it to have the Latin name. If a company doesn't use a Latin name, they're probably not the most pure, and you don't exactly know what's in this, right? You want the ingredients to be the Latin name so you know it's pure. I love this brand. I don't really know how to say it, but Aetos, because they're organic. And their price point is very good. The next thing you want to look for is the smell. So this is probably one of the most important factors if you're going to be using it for yourself, because if you don't like the smell of it, then it's not really going to provide too much benefits for you, because you're going to be like, oh, I don't even want to put this on or near my body. It's gross. So if you don't like the smell, don't use it. The great thing about essential oils is that there's so many of them that all have very similar functions. So if you don't like rosemary, but you like eucalyptus, then don't use rosemary, use eucalyptus instead. Yes, I will type in some brands at the end as well. So next is the therapeutic properties. So because we are specifically using it to boost our immune system, this is going to be important to us. We want to make sure that we're picking oils that are going to do that, right? If you are looking for like pain relief, you want to get specific oils that will help with pain relief. If you are looking to relieve a cough, you're going to want specific oils that have components that are going to help relieve the cough. So looking at their therapeutic properties and knowing which ones contain the specific chemicals that you need to get what you want out of it. And lastly is cost, because essential oils can be expensive, but like I said before, there are so many different oils that do very similar things. So you shouldn't have too much of a difficult time finding something within your price range that's going to work for you. For example, there are some oils like sandalwood that is very, very expensive. But when you combine different scents, like a cedarwood with more of like a light flowery smell, you can get a very similar sense to sandalwood that's not going to be super expensive. So just looking at that as well is important. So let's get into the essential oils to boost the immune system. I believe I have 12 different oils. Yes, I think it's 12 that we're going to talk about. So first are the expectorants, and these help to break up mucus in the respiratory tract. These are some of my favorites. Because they are very effective, and you can smell them even just from like smelling them from the bottle. You're like, wow, it's one of those ones that kind of clears your sinuses. So the first one is rosemary, and I wish we were in person because I have all of these, so I'd be able to let you guys smell them. But rosemary is really a very effective antibacterial, and it's good for clearing the mind and the lungs. It can help improve circulation, which is great for your immune system. It helps with digestive problems as well, and can help stimulate hair growth. So you'll see I added a few little like fun things in here about some of the oils, just because they have such a wide variety of things that they can do. And I wanted to express that. But rosemary is an antioxidant. It's actually used to preserve food. So it's really great to diffuse or use in body products, especially if you're trying to fight off any type of viral or bacterial infection. This is a great one to use during like cold and flu season to diffuse around your home. It'll help clear the air. Then we have peppermint, and this oil is great to clear congestion. If you think about like that minty, like fresh menthol type of smell, that's very much what this smells like. And it can help to expel gas from an upset stomach. It can also help to reduce fevers and soothe aching muscles. So remember how I said if you put peppermint topically on your body, it can actually give you like fever-like symptoms if you have too high of a dosage. That is true, but it also, because of its cooling properties, it's a very cool essential oil. It can help to reduce fevers. This is a great one for pain, because if you think of like any type of like icy hot rub, that like icy cooling sensation is anti-inflammatory, and it helps to relieve pain as well. It's really good to clean the air. You can do a blend of like rosemary, peppermint, and eucalyptus. They smell very great together, and they help to kill a ton of bacteria. It's also really good if you are having any type of like sinus congestion or anything like that. You can do a steam. So boiling some water, and then once it's boiled, take it off the heat, wrapping a towel around your head and putting your face over that steam with a few drops of peppermint oil in there, and that will help to clean out your sinuses. And last, we have eucalyptus, which is one of the most powerful antiseptic oils. This is a great one. I've talked about this before, especially in relation to COVID, because it has been known to kill the SARS virus, and COVID is a specific strain of SARS. So eucalyptus is really great for cold and flu relief. Whoops. And research has found that it actually enhances phagocytosis, which phagocytosis is when your white blood cells, they detect any type of like bacteria or illness in you, and they go up to it and they eat it. So they're eating all the bacteria so that it can't harm and multiply within our bodies and make us sick. And eucalyptus oil helps to enhance this process of the white blood cells eating the bacteria. Its smell also will help to clear the mind. This is a great one if you're really tired. You can take a nice big inhale. There are different varieties of eucalyptus though, so you want to be careful to know which one you're buying. Most of the time you'll be buying Eucalyptus globulus, so I have it right here, and it'll be within a Latin name. That's how you'll be able to tell. But there's also Eucalyptus radiata, Eucalyptus cytidora, which has a more of like citrusy smell, and there's a few more, but again, it's really important for the Latin name, because some of these can be actually very toxic, especially putting them on your skin or in a product that's going on your skin. So we want to make sure that you're getting the right one. And I recommend Eucalyptus globulus for pretty much everything. That's the safest one to use. So it can also help to reduce inflammation and is another good one for pain. It has a very nice smell, especially when you blend it with other oils, whether like citrusy or these other two, the rosemary and the peppermint. And it can be very effective to clean the air, keep all the viruses and bacteria to a minimum so that you don't get sick. Next, we have the citruses, and I call these the happy scents, because really, like, it's hard to smell them and not just have a smile on your face. And they're some of my favorite scents as well. And your mood actually plays a role on your immune function. It's been researched, it's been found that those who are unhappy, who have depression, who have anxiety, really their immune systems are much lower. They are sick more often. They spend more time in the hospital and the doctor's offices. So it's important that we address immunity on a comprehensive scale. So looking at the citruses, we kind of come from that viewpoint, but they also do have specific chemicals in them that can help boost the immune system more directly. So for example, lemon oil supports the regeneration of white and red blood cells. And it's also been shown to reduce the growth of cancer and stop external bleeding. It provides energy and is very uplifting. So lemon is also really good. If you think of like cleaning products, a lot of them are scented with lemon. Lemon itself is a very good cleaner, especially for wood. If you're thinking like Pledge, that's why. But don't put it directly on your skin, right? So we want to make sure it's diluted. We talked about this before. A lot of the citruses will cause blistering or burning within the sun. So making sure that it's diluted if you're going to use it topically. But it's a really good one to replace those like chemical cleaners in your home. Using some lemon oil with vinegar is a very good cleanser that you can use in replace of like a very toxic one. Next, we have orange, and orange is great for relieving gas and cramps in the intestines. It also helps to increase your energy and reduce fear and anxiety. It's also really good for reducing depression and to treat fungal infections. So a lot of times you'll see sweet orange, but there's also bitter orange. And you want to avoid, again, going into the sun if you're going to use these topically on your skin, and make sure they're diluted. But orange is really important in the aspect if you're going to diffuse it, because there's not too many oils that are potent antifungals, and orange is good at that. So if you're looking to make a blend that is going to kill viruses, bacteria, and mold, you're going to look for like a eucalyptus, rosemary, and like an orange, and those all happen to smell really nice together. And lastly, for the citruses, we have grapefruit, and this is very cleansing of an oil, especially for the liver, the kidneys, and the gallbladder, and the lymph system. So our lymph system is an important part of our immune system, and using grapefruit oil as a massage, like as a lymph massage, is very stimulating for the immune system and helps to clean out any dead viruses, bacteria, things that are kind of floating around in there that we want to get rid of. It also helps to balance the digestive system and can reduce depression and tiredness. When you are using it topically, again, we want to make sure it's diluted, but it is very effective at getting the body to rid itself of toxins. And if your doctors have told you to avoid grapefruit because you're on certain medications and you're going to want to avoid using grapefruit oil on your skin, you should be fine smelling it, but more than that, putting it topically or internally would be not advised. Next, we have the relaxers. And these oils can help calm the nervous system. So lavender is probably the like king of all essential oils. It really is so powerful for so many different ailments. It's one of the ones, like if you're going to get any oil, I would recommend lavender. But it stimulates the growth of new cells. It can prevent scarring and is a very potent antibacterial. Just to address this, I do see a ton of questions. I'll get to all of them at the end. It can help enhance phagocytosis, which we just talked about, is when the white blood cells eat the bacteria in our systems. And it can help reduce stress and calm the nervous system. So sleep and relaxation are key components to our immune system. When we're sleep deprived, it is not good. Our bodies tend to shut down. Our immune system can't function. We're more likely to get sick. And we're more likely to make very irrational decisions. So making sure that you have a healthy sleep routine, these essential oils can help with that. Next is vetiver. This is a very interesting essential oil in terms of scent. It's very earthy, but it's great to strengthen the immune system, and it's really well known for its like very relaxing properties. So when you smell vetiver, it's got this very musty, like earthy scent, but it kind of drops you down into I don't know how to, it's very like grounding. That's the term that I want to use. Very grounding. And it can help promote a restful sleep. It's also antiseptic and can be used to heal infected wounds. Yes, there is a slide for the relaxers. Can you guys not see it? Oh, what about now? Okay, cool. I don't know why that happened. Okay, so where are we? Yes, Roman chamomile. Chamomile is another really great relaxing oil. Its main benefits are because it's a very potent anti-inflammatory. This is one of the most like strong anti-inflammatory oils we have. It can help reduce hives and eczema because it's very calming on the skin. And it's also an antifungal and can reduce pain by numbing the nerves. I prefer the smell of Roman chamomile than vetiver. Vetiver is very earthy. It's more like I don't want to say manlier, but it's definitely like a more masculine smell. Whereas Roman chamomile is a little bit more flowery and tends to be a little bit more well tolerated by most, but they're both very effective at helping with sleep. And the last three that we're going to go over are the honorable mentions. So these are just three that are really good for the immune system that didn't really fall into any of the other categories that I had, but they're good to keep on hand. So clove is a very potent anti-inflammatory and antioxidant. It also has pain relieving properties. You might, if you've ever used any like natural pain relievers for your mouth, it likely has clove in it. It's been used for hundreds of years in traditional medicine practices to ease pain and to help wounds. It's very numbing. If you've ever used it before, just like a tiny little bit anywhere within your mouth can fully make it numb. You want to, why are my slides not updating? I don't know why that's happening. Can you guys see it now? Hopefully you can see it, because I don't have any other way of changing it. Okay. Okay, so again, clove oil has been used to ease pain and help treat wounds, and research has found that it helps to boost antibody production. So when you get sick, your immune system produces antibodies that are specific cells that know to combat specific diseases. And clove oil can be used to help stimulate the production of antibodies so that we have, next time we are exposed to that specific illness, for example, take strep throat. If we have antibodies to strep throat, the next time we get exposed to that bacteria, streptococcus, we should be able to combat it a lot quicker without us getting as sick if we have the right antibodies. Next is tea tree. This is again a really good antimicrobial and antifungal oil. It's sometimes known as first aid in a bottle. Tea tree and lavender are two ones to really just like keep with you at all times. But it's great to help treat cold sores because it can help fight against the herpes virus, and it can loosen mucus in the respiratory tract. It also helps to stimulate the immune system. It can help boost the production of our immune system cells, such as white blood cells, macrophages, things like that. And lastly, we have ginger, which is super high in antioxidants and a very good anti-inflammatory. So it also has antiviral and antibacterial properties. And there's two different gingers. I actually have two different ones here so I can show you. But there's fresh ginger essential oil and there's dried ginger essential oil. And I will say I prefer the fresh. The dried is a little bit earthy. I don't prefer the smell of it. But the fresh ginger is exactly what you would expect if you smelt like fresh ginger, like off of a cutting board. It's very potent. It's very fresh smelling, like what's the word I'm looking for? It gives you like a zing in your nose when you go to smell it. It's really good for relieving pain because it does have a warming effect. So things like arthritis, strains, sprains, it's a really good oil to use on those as well. Okay, so those are the essential oils that I was talking about for this talk. But there are so many more. I have a whole slew of oils here in my toolkit. But if you're just starting out and you're really wondering like what oil should I buy, again, I talked about lavender. Tea tree is also up there with lavender just because they have so many different benefits. But I also recommend a citrus because they just smell so good and they're really great at boosting your mood. And a eucalyptus, because eucalyptus is very good at killing viruses in the air. And it's one of those ones that I continuously diffuse during flu season in my home. And I think it's made a big difference. Since I started doing that, I haven't gotten as sick. So it's one of the ones that it's definitely one of my go-tos. And then of course, anything that you really like, right? So I encourage you, if you're new to essential oils, to go to a store that has a few, or if you know someone who's like a representative for doTERRA or Healthy Living or another, brand like that, and they have a ton of different oils, smell a bunch of different ones and see if one really appeals to you. There's the idea that the oil that you need is going to smell the best for you. So with that in mind, kind of saying, okay, well, this smells really, really good. Maybe it's what my body needs. And then using it, either diffusing it in your home or smelling it or whatever you feel most comfortable with. Okay, so going to the questions, let me pull up the chat one more time. Okay, so what essential oils are good for pain? I just told you ginger because it's very warming, and also peppermint because it's cooling, and they're also very anti-inflammatory. Roman chamomile is another one that's really good for pain, and clove. Whenever you're going to use these, we want to make sure that they are diluted properly, which someone asked a question about dilutions. So I can pull up this next slide. I left this one out because I didn't know if you guys would be interested in it, but since you are, I will, I have it up right now. So this is an essential oil dilution chart. If you want to download it, you can go to my website, because I have this as a free download under the free stuffs tab. And this tells you for the percentages, how many drops you need and how much of the carrier oil in ounces. So for example, if you're making a 1% dilution, and you had a 1 ounce bottle, so you're using 1 ounce of, whether it's like jojoba oil or sweet almond oil or whatever type of oil you're mixing it in, you're going to need, whoops, excuse me, I can't even read this on here. What does that say? 9 drops? I'm sorry, it's very blurry for me, I can't see it. But you can download this graphic. Whoops. You can download that graphic.
The only thing is that the slide is up on honorable mentions.
Oh, goodness.
Yeah. Oh, there it is. Perfect.
Okay. I don't know why it's doing that. It's like, as soon as it's up for me, but then when I click out of the window, it changes for you guys. So I don't know why that's happening. It's very strange. Okay, so this is the dilution chart. If you download it from my website though, it'll be clear, but I believe that says like 9 drops, I think. So if you had like 1 ounce and you're making a 1% dilution, anytime you're doing them, you're going to want to stay within the 0.5 to 1% dilution rate. Very rarely do we go up to the 2.5, 3, 5, or 10. For example, like if you sprain your ankle, like I did, and need something very powerful, I would go up to maybe a 5%. I wouldn't go up to a 10%. You're not going to use these higher dosages, especially if you're just using them for like, your home or something. That's more for a certified aromatherapist to really deal with. But between the 0.5% and 1%, that should be pretty standard for most of your needs. And then if there's something like a little bit more serious, if you're trying to treat a specific illness, maybe a 2.5%. But I wouldn't really go any higher than that without seeking like a professional to help you with it. Okay, so when you talk about anti-inflammatory properties, what is inflamed? Is it on the skin or inside the body? So Vicky, that's a good question. And it depends. So for example, if you have a specific injury, then that part of your body is going to be inflamed. Going back to my ankle, it's swollen right now, right? It's not as swollen as it probably would be if I wasn't taking care of it, but it's still inflamed because there's an injury there. So my body trying to heal the injury is going to cause this inflammation to protect it and start the healing process. Whereas if you're talking about an infection, right? If you have a cut and you have an infection, then that area, when you think of like an infected wound, is going to be swollen, red, hot, maybe like a little bit of pus or something coming out of it, kind of gross, right? But that's inflammation as well. Or there's systemic inflammation, which is inflammation within your entire body. So this could be if you have any type of like chronic illness, like cancer or heart disease or diabetes, or even just general being overweight or obese. That is inflammation within your body. So these essential oils can help with the inflammation based on what it is. If you're using it for a specific part of your body, then I would recommend putting it topically on that specific part, whether it's like a cut or like a sprained ankle. If it's more systemic, things like smelling it or using a very minimal, like a 0.5% dilution in a lotion to put throughout your body would be more helpful for something that's more widespread. Or diffusing it would be helpful as well. Okay, and for dilution, what do we dilute the essential oils with? There is, I'm gonna, hold on, let me go back so you guys can see my website. Oh, I didn't even put it on there. I'll type it in the chat. Okay, so there's my website. You guys can go to that and download the dilution chart. And what do you dilute the essential oils with? So I usually recommend like a blend of different oils. And this is really about preference, and it's also about what you want it for. So for example, sesame oil has some warming properties. So if you're going to use warming essential oils like a ginger or a clove or a cinnamon, you might want to dilute that in a sesame oil so you get that warming property. Whereas coconut oil is a little bit cooler of an oil. So if you're using something like peppermint, you might want to put that in coconut oil. If you're just looking for general, you can use olive oil, you can use castor oil, you can use sesame oil. Jojoba oil is really great because it matches the oil of our skin, so it soaks in really easily. Whereas if you're looking for something to like massage into your body, you're going to want something that doesn't soak in as well because you're going to want it to be able to massage, right? To like lather. Yeah, you could use like a mineral oil, depending, you just be careful because sometimes mineral oils will have like other scents or things in them. I think it might be infused with an essential oil already, which is fine. You just want to know. But the easy ones I would say would be like a sweet almond oil. It's very like generic. It's very light. The main ones that I use are sweet almonds and jojoba. Yeah, but it's really up to your preference. And you can look, like do some research for yourself if you're trying to make a specific product. You can say like what carrier oil would be good to use for a whatever it is that you want to make. Does anyone else have any questions, or did I miss any of them? I don't think I missed them.
If anyone has any questions, feel free to use the raise hand feature, or if you'd like to unmute, the microphones are open.
Was somebody trying to speak? Vicky, how often should I treat myself with essential oils? So you can use them every day. I use them every day. Different purposes, you know, sometimes I'll diffuse it. Sometimes I'm putting it topically on my body. Sometimes most of the time I'm just smelling it, but you can use them for whatever you need to each day. It just depends on what your body needs and what your preference is. But really there's no limit as long as you're not pouring straight essential oils on your body, right? We want to be smart about it. We want to make sure it's diluted properly. But as long as you're being safe, you can use them every day, especially if you're just smelling them or diffusing them, then they can be used every single day. I know people in a diffuser, how many drops in water. It's between like 5 and 10. It depends on the diffusers. Some might have very specific recommendations based on the diffuser and its level of quality. But usually between 5 and 10 drops in the water, you should be able to smell it. Oh, I was about to say something and I forgot what it was. But oils for dry skin, please. Okay, so essential oils are not going to be as effective for dry skin as like the carrier oil. So I would say jojoba oil is going to be the best option to really soak into your skin. And then you're going to want things based on, you know, is your dry skin like inflamed? Is it red? Is it itchy? If that's the case, then you're going to want something like aroma and chamomile. If you just need something that's a little bit more hydrating, the citruses are pretty hydrating, but you want to be careful because you don't want to go in the sun after using them. So it kind of depends on that. There's also like rose oil is really great for your skin. It's a little bit expensive, but you know, that's a really good oil to mix in a carrier oil for your skin as well. What's my favorite for muscle relief? Definitely like the peppermint, anything that has that like little bit of like menthol-y or like a eucalyptus, and then the warming ones. So whether it's ginger or clove, and I really like, I actually have it right here, arnica oil. So I'll take arnica and I'll mix like a drop of whether it's the ginger or the clove oil into a large, you know, like an ounce of this. And then I'll rub that on sore muscles, and that tends to be very effective. It's very warming. I have a necklace vial for oils. How often can we inhale? You can inhale all day. There is no like overdosing on smelling essential oils. There is no downside to it. If anything, it's going to be, you know, helping you, especially if you're using like eucalyptus, the tea trees, anything antibacterial is going to be so powerful for your immune system when you inhale it. And yeah, there, I would say, like I have this here, I smell this all the time. So you can smell it as often as you want. Christine, I put lemon, myrtle, a few drops in washing machine to give my laundry a nice smell. Yeah, that's great. So, yes, here's the inhaler. So using lemon oil is awesome. You can use any oil in your laundry. You can use eucalyptus, you can use lavender. It's really good to replace those like toxic chemicals that, you know, those, I don't even know what they're called, but they're like those little beads of fragrance that you put in the laundry machine. I know so many people that use them, and I'm always just like, wow, that's so much, like so much toxins. You could just add a few drops of essential oil in there, and it'd be so much more powerful and less toxic to your body, especially if you have like sensitive skin. But other tips for using that, the lemon mitral oil, anything lemon is great to use for cleaning products, right? So, or just smelling, but cleaning products, especially like if you're gonna use like a vinegar and putting in a couple drops of lemon oil, it kind of takes that vinegary smell out of it, and it's a really great window cleaner. You can wash your countertops with it. You can do lots of stuff with the lemon, cleaning and cleaning. That's usually what I use lemon for. So in my breathing blend, this is an antiviral breathing blend. I have eucalyptus, tea tree, rosemary, and cinnamon. They're all very potent antivirals. And is there a way to clean the vials to change the oils? Are you speaking of your necklace? Yeah. So I, just for example, when I'm done like with an essential oil bottle like this, because I go through a ton of these, I actually peel off the sticker and take everything apart and put it in the dishwasher. I don't know if you have the opportunity to do that with your vial, but if you do and that's an option for you, I would just do that, because then I reuse these bottles when I make my own blends. Let's see, for example, this was a blend at one point in time, but I don't even know what it is now because the thing wiped off. But yeah, so Let's see. The blend of my arnica oil is Naturopathica. It's a spa in East Hampton. And what are the essential oils in for breathing blend water or carrier? For this right here, this is literally just a, I don't think I'm going to be able to pop this off without my tool, but inside of here is a cotton wick. So within this tube, it's just the straight essential oils that have been, this wick has been soaked in them, and then you put it in here. So now they smell, and these will last for years. I have another one in my drawer over there that I've had for 6 years, and it still smells. It still smells just as potent as 6 years ago when I made it. And this one I've had for about a year and a half, and it still smells. So it's really just the oil soaked in the cotton wick, and you can use, you can reuse these if you want. There's a little tool that helps you get the bottom off when you buy them. Any essential oils to help with bone issues. So yeah, well, it depends on like what bone issues, but if you're talking like just general like bone pain, joint pain, I would say any of the anti-inflammatories like Roman chamomile is really great for any type of like arthritis-y type of bone issue. But yeah, anything anti-inflammatory. So Roman chamomile is great. Peppermint would probably be beneficial depending on if it's the pain issue that you're going through. Ginger, so good for arthritis. I'm trying to think of what other ones are coming to my mind. Oh, frankincense is good as well. That's pretty anti-inflammatory. That would probably be good for that. And where are these containers with the cotton wick available? I just get them off Amazon. I'm a sucker for Amazon. But they're called like essential oil inhaler tubes, and it'll come with the cotton wick. It'll come with all the little things. Usually they come with these labels so you can write down what's in them. And yeah, you can make I think it's like 12 in a pack, and you can make which ones. Ooh, Vicky, this is great. So if you have asthma and perfume makes you cough, I can relate because I have the same thing. So I love like the eucalyptus and the peppermint and the rosemary. They're so cleansing, and they really help to open up your airways. I know if I don't have my inhaler, because I don't always have it, when I have allergies, for example, if I go to like a friend's house and it's very dusty, I will use peppermint oil and either smell it, or I'll dilute it and put a drop here and here on my nose and here on my chest, and it will open up your airways so much. It's very powerful. So definitely peppermint, and then rosemary is great as well, and so is eucalyptus, so is tea tree. The 4 of those are definitely really, really good for asthma. Same thing with sinusitis. I would say those 4 as well, because that's all just like inflammation in your sinuses, right? That's what like sinusitis is. So anything that's going to reduce that inflammation and open up your airways, very, very powerful. Yeah. Yep. Does anyone else have any other questions? These are great questions, guys. I'm very happy with them.
Someone asks, what helps with, what is that?
Sinusitis. Yeah. I just answered that one. That was like the same thing. It's rosemary, tea tree, eucalyptus, peppermint, anything that's going to open up the airways and really reduce that inflammation. Yeah. Does anyone else have any questions?
Let's see. Well, I thank everybody for zooming in today to this wonderful presentation, and thank you, Dr. Dragone, for being able to present these for us at the East Hampton Library, and we're happy to share them with everybody in the community and beyond. And we'll see you again on the next presentation.
Before we go, real quick, sorry. I was reminded about the brands. Yes. So this brand, Aitos, I think that's what it's called. I use this mostly. Like if you could see my big setup here. I just have so many of these ones, mostly because they're organic. I just typed it, so it's AETOS, I believe. AE, yeah. Okay. I do get these wholesale, so that is, I'm a little bit biased because I don't have to pay full price for them, but I just think they're a great brand in general because they're all organic. They have the Latin name. You can ask for the paperwork and see what's in all of them if you really wanted to, which is nice. But there's a couple other brands that I do like. So this one, there's this place called Phoebe's Aromatics. These are a lot more expensive, but it's a small distillery in Arizona. And this scent in particular, their Douglas fir, is hands down my favorite essential oil ever. So I will type this in the chat. Phoebe. But I believe like this bottle, like the size is like $30. So it's definitely more expensive compared to like a Aetos. I'm not against doTERRA or what is it? Healthy Living, something like that. I just personally don't purchase them. I'm not affiliated with them. I'm not affiliated with any Young Living. There we go. I'm not affiliated with any company just because I think that can skew you a little bit as a practitioner. But I am a big fan of going to stores, smelling oils, because there's one of the things that I did in my training was we smelled 13 different lavenders. They were all lavender, Lavandula augustifolia, same Latin name, grown in different climates, grown in different places around the world, and they all smelled slightly different. So even though it's the same essential oil, the same, components, it had a slightly different smell. So I think it's good to kind of just like if you have the opportunity or if you have a store around you that sells essential oils, to just smell different ones by different people and kind of pick and choose which you like the best. So that's my recommendation. There's also Eden's Garden is a fully women-owned company, and they make some really great essential oils as well. I have a few of theirs. I don't even know if I have them in this thing. That might be in my other. Here we go. This is like an Eden's Garden one, a grapefruit by them. And they're great. I love they're women owned. Here's another one by them. There's so many different companies out there. The three that I just mentioned are just ones that I happened to gravitate towards. There used to be a really great store in the city called, what was it called? I don't remember. No, I'm gonna blank. But they had so many different essential oils there and all different companies, and you could just go in and smell a ton, but I don't think they're in business anymore. Florihana is another brand that's great. I'll type that. They have a really nice ylang-ylang that smells really good. What other brands do I have in here? This one's a good brand too, Zayat. Zayat Aroma. I have a ton of these as well. That's a good brand. But yeah, if you can tell, I'm not super gung-ho about one particular brand. I am more of a believer of like smelling them and seeing which one appeals to you the most. Thank you guys for listening. This is very exciting.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Dr. Dragone, and we'll see you again.
Okay.